faculty of crime.
Hello, everybody. What's up? I am Jay with Guilty of Crime, and I thought that would be a very suiting intro for, well, Sean Puffy Combs, P-Diddy, Puff Daddy, Love, Cuff Daddy, whatever you want to call him. I'm pretty sure he's going to be in prison for life. So I've got some highlights from the press conference. Of course, shocking allegations by 120 people, by the way. And I thought it would be nice to have Suge Knight from jail in his interview. Now, definitely not surprised. I'm reading some of your comments. What's up, Synth? I'm reading some comments here, and crime to remember, absolutely nothing shocking about this case. And today I decided to cover the Diddy case because, well, one thing is that we did the first episode yesterday, and the second interview is similar, but also Grizzly covered it in a couple of hour interview. I didn't want to make you guys sit through that again, and I wanted to make sure that it was properly translated for you. And you guys talk, and I hear you, and you want me not to interrupt when the Spanish part is going on. So I wanted to make sure I had plenty of time. Randy B, I'm glad you're stopping by to say hi, but I'm not happy that you're not feeling well. I hope you're feeling better soon. All right, do me a favor, y'all. Hit that like button. This particular topic is everywhere, but I chose to cover it. So I'm going to cover it. I'm going to do the highlights. I'm going to do Suge Knight. And a reason it's particularly close to my heart and my soul and my well-being, because growing up in this time, listening to Puff Daddy and Mace and then Bieber and them, that was an afterthought. But Usher, I thought he was something other than he is. So there's a few surprises that I've come to just realize as I wasn't following this case so closely. But I did want to make sure I cover for you all what's happening in the now with this case, and some shocking things that you all as a community might not have known. I talked about the what's up, Darlene Wolf. I talked about the baby oil having GHB in it before. I have a clip of exactly what was going on and some other things that I think will be shocking for this community. It's not shocking to me. When I grew up and I heard about Aaliyah not making it out of the airplane and it being too heavy, that was very sus. I knew about R. Kelly and all his stuff going down, so it doesn't surprise me that this particular Hollywood community is doing these things to our children. Yeah, those are our children, folks. And M, what's up? Rosie, how you doing? Yeah, these are our children. And if anybody ever put their children or child in headshots or commercials or anything like that, this is what's happening. So no better that if you're going to put your child in something like this, please be there every step of the way. Don't let this happen to your kid. Michelle Horick, it's so amazing that this went on so long. So many people knew that he was a bad dude, and I can't believe he's the boss. I'm not sure. I'm waiting for this to come out to see if he actually is the boss. We have Clive and the generation before him. So I have a feeling there's some other big influences, and they're making him take the fall. Just like Epstein. True crime, Jay. Let's go, hun. All right. Please don't attack the victims and the minors. Yeah, right. Oh, all right. Let's listen to this. Thank you, Petty Mason, for sending this over. It's a nice highlight, nice, good highlight of the press conference, and gives you some insight to the big names. And I just said, yeah, Clive was a boss, Marilyn McRae. I just said that. I just said that I think Clive was the bigger boss. And then when you hear about all these things, I don't think Diddy was so much the boss anymore. All right, do me a favor. I'm going to ask you guys to hit the like, subscribe if you haven't. This topic doesn't always have, we don't have 700 people on here because, well, it's not the Madeline Soto case, but I have to cover other cases and I will. So if you guys can, if you can donate to my Cash App, that Cash App fund is going to my house. If you can't donate to Cash App and you want to do a super chat, super sticker, please do. If you can't afford it, I understand. Hit the like button and subscribe and share my content with your friends. All right. So let's listen to this update. 120 more lawsuits. This is a highlight. It's going to talk about the big people that you might not know. All right. So I don't think Diddy's the boss. I don't think he's the boss of all bosses. Let's go.
That we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. These are individual cases. There are indeed other perpetrators involved. They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing. And I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it, egged it on.
Are we talking about Beyonce maybe and Jay-Z? Are we talking about after a while Usher? Are we talking about Ashton Kutcher? Who are we talking about? Let's listen. Yeah, the list of names is not that far from Epstein. It's just a different crowd. It's not as political, but there are some. Let's listen. This is crazy.
They know who they are.
Not surprising.
Attorneys announced yesterday that they will be filing at least 120 new lawsuits on behalf of people who say they were sexually abused by Sean Diddy Combs and his associates. This includes one victim who was as young as 9 years old. Houston Attorney Tony Buzbee, that's who you just saw, he spoke next to sexual abuse victim advocates and co-counsel at the press conference, adding that many of the alleged victims have already spoken to law enforcement authorities, including the FBI. And we have some reporting for you from HuffPost. The attorneys are now in the process of collecting police reports and medical records from hospitals, according to Buzbee. Some of the alleged victims had drugs found in their system when they sought medical treatment following the sexual abuse, he said. One drug in particular that kept showing up in the alleged victims' test results was xylazine, also known as Tranq, a non-opioid sedative. He said most of the alleged victims they represent had been scared to speak out until Combs was arrested and indicted by federal authorities in September. He has pleaded not guilty. The attorney said more than 3,000 people reached out to them about possible abuse, and they now
And you got to remember, when you think about 3,000 people and then it's siphoning down to 120, I cannot even imagine that. But what mostly gets me is when I hear about 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, 14-year-olds. I cannot even fathom it. I cannot imagine my daughter hitting the high school age and some mogul guy or some guy that works for a mogul saying, "Hey, honey, come here. You want to be around this, this star that makes videos and whatever." And then they just drug her and do what they want. I see red. And I see a shotgun going off in someone's crotch is what I see. So yeah, Tranks, seriously, GHB, we're going to get into all that. It's so heartbreaking because it could be any one of our children. Now, if your children are already past teenage years, be grateful. Yeah, in my opinion, Jay-Z and Beyonce have fled to a country that doesn't extradite. What about Harvey? What about Steve Harvey, y'all? What about the Kardashians? All of these people. What is wrong with these people?
represent 120 accusers. The alleged victims come from more than 25 states, with a majority of them living in California, New York, Georgia, and Florida. Andrew Van Arsdale, managing partner of AVA Law Group, told HuffPost this following the press conference. They said they're coming forward now because they finally feel a bit safer that he's behind bars. His influence and control over their livelihood and maybe physical health is waning, so they're coming forward in the numbers they are. And we've got some more reporting for you from the from HuffPost, no longer the Huffington Post. According to Buzbee, Combs' alleged victims are evenly split between women and men. with about 62% of them identifying as African Americans, 30% identifying as white, and the remainder either Asian or Hispanic. Although each case is different, a common theme involves the alleged victim being lured into a situation where they were given a laced drink at a party before being sexually abused by Combs or his associates while other people watched. One individual, who was 22 at the time, told attorneys that if you refused the drink, you were kicked out of the party, according to Buzbee. He said much of the sexual abuse happens at auditions or parties, including album releases and Combs' all-white parties, some at well-known.
Now, I gotta say my theory as we get into this case. I gotta tell you this. First of all, I've always said the world is ran by PEDOS. I've always said that. Now, this is probably not going to be monetized. That my other Diddy one is not monetized. There's too much CSA involved, too many things that talk about SA and all that stuff. So, yeah, thank you, Basti77, for donating the membership to Guilty of Crime. And this is sick. When I see a picture of Diddy, I see the devil. I see him as the devil, and I see the Kardashians as the devil, and I see Ashton Kutcher. I see Ellen DeGeneres involved in this. What is going on? Who wants to abuse our children? Who wants to abuse my child? Anybody, probably anybody that has the opportunity would abuse my child, and your children's children. This is unacceptable. That's why I like covering this, because I want to get this out to my community and the people that do not know about this case or know enough. I know my mom probably doesn't know that Oprah Winfrey or the Kardashians are involved in this, or Ashton Kutcher, or any of these people. Stella, Jay, you were right. Demons, absolute demons. I want the people that aren't on this, TMZ or like the black social media, there's a lot of like BET and a lot of these people, because it's the black community that are covering this. But you know who's not in the black community? Me or you or your grandma or my mom. They're not following that, but I really want them to know. Yes, Oprah kryptonite. Ellen DeGeneres. I've always looked up to Ellen DeGeneres as, hey, she's in the community. She's an LGBTQ plus whatever. I just can't do this. I can't even. Yeah, I definitely got to preach it. J-Lo probably will talk. We'll see. There's so many people above Diddy, in my opinion.
Known venues in New York City. Buzbee said at least 25 were minors at the time of the alleged abuse, with the youngest being just 9 years old. The attorney said the child was brought to New York City by Combs' record label, Bad Boy Records, for an audition, but was sexually abused by Combs and his associates at the studio. The boy was promised that he and his parents would get a record deal, Buzbee said. The victims' cases will be filed individually against Combs and may also include corporate entities such as banks, pharmaceutical companies, and hotels who Buzbee said profited off the abuse. And the suit alleges that Sean Diddy Combs impregnated women he sexually assaulted. We have this for you from Deadline. Says in an action filed today in New York City, a Florida-based former model claims the Bad Boy for Life performer intimidated her, drugged her, raped her, and impregnated her over several years starting in 2021. Though Jane Doe claims the associates of Combs pressured her to have an abortion, she actually lost the child due to a miscarriage. It's alleged that a Diddy tape with an even more high-profile celeb is being shopped around. During a recent appearance on News Nation, Ariel Mitchell Kidd said she was contacted regarding the sale of one of the Diddy tapes, which she declined. Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high-profile than Mr. Combs, she alleged. She said, I can verify that it exists, that it's real, and that the other person in the video is very visible, she claimed. There's no question of if it's that person in the video.
And you know what the problem is? Stuff that's going around, y'all. Stuff that's going around is that, what is that? The AI stuff that we saw before. We saw like they would take Angelina Jolie's face and put it on some porn star. I can't remember what the name of that is, but that's the problem with a lot of these photos going around on YouTube. And I thought, you know what? I want to cover this so you guys know what I'm putting out is legit. I'm not putting some clickbait with a picture of Diddy's face pasted on, him kissing some other dude or whatever it is. I just don't want that out there. When that's out there, it ruins the news. It ruins what's legit about it. And there's a lot of people that we don't need to put fake faces on and say this person did it, this person did it, because I can show you a real video of somebody that is involved in it. So I do want you to know that it just really sucks that there's so many things out there that we can't tell if they're real, if they're not, and if they are real, it's just for clicks, likes, and whatever. And that's not why we're here. I really want you guys to know about these people. Pedo Wood, yeah, I like that. Clyde Davis was the white gay music mogul that taught Diddy, exactly. So if you guys don't know, Clive Davis is the Diddy boss. Yeah, their Photoshop pics are a problem, but there's also another thing that does AI generation, and it puts a face, like an actor's face, on porn, and like a porn thing, and it makes them look like they did that, and they really didn't. Miss Sweetie Brookshire, what's up? I thought it was Sweetie, the other one. Money makes you think you're untouchable. Money makes them evil, it seems to be. Graciela, what's up? A lot of people say that, Synth. All right, let's keep going.
High profile than Mr. Combs. I have some ideas as to who that could possibly be, but we're not going to speculate here because we just don't know. There's so many names that are associated with this story, so many people who are supposedly celebrities who are supposedly just waiting to be subpoenaed, waiting to give their testimony regarding what they know about this case. It's the details that are coming out are absolutely shocking, maybe even more shocking than even I was expecting. And I have very low expectations as far as, how good these people can be or would be. Like the bar is so low that who knows, but a 9-year-old child is beyond comprehension. Tehran, I'll give you a moment to respond to this. What do you think?
Well, first of all, of course, these are disgusting and despicable allegations. And there's nothing that can be said that can put this in a good light. It's horrific, the images. I do expect there to be more victims. As Attorney Buzbee said, I expect there to be at least 880 more victims because they did find 1,000 bottles of lube and baby oil in his house. So there has to be, mathematically speaking, that 1,000 bottles just wasn't for his ashy skin. There's a lot more victims that are going to be coming forward. My hope is that every single victim that comes.
Now, Stormcat, you always play devil's advocate, and I appreciate that. Associated doesn't mean they knew, but when it starts to come out that they knew, that means we're going to come out with what they knew and who knew. So we're not saying that because they were associated or because they were in the same room at a party while a 14-year-old was a train being ran on her, that they didn't know for the last 15 years. Yeah, sometimes you are guilty by association. So they had the ones that weren't culpable, we'll find out if they're culpable or not. Everything will come to light. So I'm not blaming anybody that because they were there, but when you're there for 15 years over and over at white party after freak off, after this, after that, and you see these young girls being brought in and out and abused and GHB and whatever, yeah, you're going to be guilty by association to some extent. So I'm not going to completely disregard what I said versus you saying associated doesn't mean they knew. You're right. There's many times I've been somewhere that I didn't know something was going on until later, but I damn sure know that if I was there time after time after time, yeah, I knew what was going on, but I brushed it off. Exactly. So we need to listen and learn. Exactly. And that's why I'm here, so I can teach and learn and not get fake media attention, fake content, whatever. Yeah, absolutely. We're all held accountable for the company we keep.
Comes forward is giving direct, honest, open, integrity testimony, because I do not want there to be any level of falsehood when it comes to this. I do not want anybody to simply be chasing the bag. That will shed a horrible light on the rest of the case and give that reasonable doubt that Diddy is looking for. I don't know whether he's guilty or not. It does not look good. They do not go in with the feds if it's not a shut case. And, he said can't stop, won't stop. That's what he really meant. He really meant that.
He did say that a lot in the 90s.
He said that a lot. If you got a Grammy from 1994 until 2014, you're scared right now. You're scared right now. The only thing I have to say in a positive light is, unlike a lot of presidential candidates and at least 4 Supreme Court justices, at least Diddy was pro-choice. I don't know. There's nothing good here.
And, it looks like justice is actually coming for him too. And just a reminder to the viewers, this has been going on for years, right? They've been investigating this guy for years, not just him.
And you got to see some of these people here that look like they're pushing 30. They weren't in the battlefields when we were there, listening to these accusations back then, hearing about these parties, hearing about abuse going on. They're reporting on it now, but they weren't then in the time. So this is great that it's bringing awareness to all communities. And I'm not gonna put Ellen DeGeneres and say she did it until it comes out. Emma Joy, hello. I'm not going to say that until it comes, but I am going to give you bits and pieces of what I think as we learn and as it does come out. That guy is right. Let's not give any reasonable doubt to Diddy's case by throwing in this fake news or fake information to the judges because we don't want Diddy to get off. He is a big ringleader, and I do want to say the reason I bet that they're putting a target on his back is because can't stop, won't stop. He's just open in the public, y'all. He's open in the public. Jojo for show. Thank you for the $10 super chat. This is for everyone that wants to donate but are unable. Crime Crew, we love you. Match me. Hashtag. Thank you. Yeah, investigating. If they were investigating, then why do they do nothing for all these years? Because they're too powerful. Loco Jazz Hands. That's the whole problem is power and money stop these things. And they're afraid. They've been afraid. Anybody that's come out and spoke against Diddy or any of these people in power, their lives have been taken. All right. Their lives have been taken or something bad's happened to them. So that's why people are starting to speak out now. Look at Bill Cosby. It takes years for someone to start to get older and not be able to fight as much. And I think they waited for Diddy to not be able to fight as much and for him to get weaker.
But everybody associated with him. And it's true. He was so integral into that rap and R&B scene, especially in the 90s and the early 2000s. There are so many celebrities, so many of our favorite artists from back then and from today who came up because Diddy kind of let them or because they were affiliated with Diddy in some way. The most obvious ones are, Biggie Smalls, but then there's also Usher and Justin Bieber, and their names have been coming up quite a bit also since all these allegations have come out. Also, Jennifer Lopez, people are looking at her like, what did she know?
Nope.
Was she a victim or was she an accomplice? What was her role in all this? Maybe nothing, these are just things that are coming out. But I think whenever a story is so big and it blows up like this, it just feels like everything can just kind of implode all of a sudden. So the fallout is going to be pretty major. And, I think the bigger story here maybe not the bigger story, because the bigger story is all the sexual abuse and all the sexual assault and the power dynamics at play. But there's also something to be said about celebrity culture and these people that we elevate in our societies and the people that we idolize and the people that we say, oh my goodness, wouldn't it be great if I could meet this person and they could, help my career take off and blah, blah, blah. But then we hear about the case where there was a 9-year-old who was trying to get a record deal from Bad Boy Records. And the parents, I don't know how much they knew about the music industry at that time.
A lot of parents don't know about the music industry. They come from another state. They chase their child's dream, and that happens. And then there's other parents that we're going to say are like Jen Soto and don't give a shit. All they want is the money. They're only chasing the money and the fame. Look at Britney Spears' parents. Look at some of the other parents. Scary Sherry, I'm with you all. 9.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Stella, I love you. Who's next? Go. You guys are great. Thank you guys for being here. And thank you for knowing that I do my best to do the research and just not put fake content out there. So I do want you to know we will listen to the press conference after the Suge Knight interview. But I do want you to see this press conference isn't something that's fake. It's coming straight from I believe it's district attorney. We'll check that out after.
Time. But if I was a mother of a 9-year-old, I don't care how talented that child is, they would not be meeting with Sean Diddy Combs at any point, just to get a record deal for a 9-year-old also. Like what kind of 9-year-old? But then I don't remember how old Justin Bieber was when he first started. Any final thoughts you have on this one?
I just see this as Harvey Weinstein 2.0. There were so many people that were complicit. There were so many enablers. And now all those will be brought out. As we all know, the darkness will always be brought to light. So innocent until proven guilty, but it's not looking very good.
You know what? And Cat Williams, he did warn us. Do you guys remember that Cat Williams interview? It feels like so long ago, but that was like January. He just came out 2024 and he said it. People are going to find out a lot of things that maybe people weren't ready to find out about. And a lot of people at the time speculated that, Sean Diddy Combs, something would probably come out about him.
Cat Williams is the man. All right, I'm going to stop this. We're going to listen to the Suge Knight interview, and then, we're welcome to listen to anything, but I do want to listen to the press conference. Cat Williams has been preaching it. And I don't know if people just didn't believe him because they're like, oh, it's Cat Williams. He's a crazy comic. He's done drugs in his past and blah, 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 whatever it is. Sometimes you got to believe things you hear, take it with a grain of salt and run with it. You don't have to it doesn't have to be religious, but just know that there's a truth to some things. Foxy Amazon, thank you for gifting one Guilty of Crime membership. And all of you guys are just amazing. Thank you for supporting my channel when other times when I'm not just covering the Madeline Soto case. It is important, but this is our children, folks. All right. This one is what I really was looking forward to, is the Suge Knight one. Suge Knight is no joke. That guy will break your leg if you owe him money. That's what he did back in the day. So Chris Cuomo, however you say that, project, he did this full interview with Suge Knight in prison. And wait, hold on. And then we got a Justin Bieber one, which I really want to dig into. But the Suge Knight one, I want you guys to know that Suge Knight is like a hitman. He was like a hitman. He is in prison because he ran somebody over with this car and didn't give a shit, y'all. Didn't give a shit. And he's here talking. Most of the time, you don't get somebody like that talking. Cuomo wants to be the mayor, huh? Well, he's got his own show now, and I'd rather stream it from his show than from News Nation. Give him some likes and follows, right? Diddy's definitely not the boss who started him out back, and check that out. I agree. I don't think that I never once said Diddy's the boss. I think he's excessive. He's over the top. He's careless. And he just thinks he's untouchable. And so somebody said, you're it, mother. You're way too out there. You're flossing way too hard. And you're just showing off what you're doing. And people are seeing it. When you got guys like Cat Williams, yeah, he's a puppet, Miss Odin. You're right. When you got somebody like that, that's like, I do what I want. I'm gonna take your child and do that to your child, and then have sex with that guy and that girl and that whoever I want. Yeah, you're going to be taken down at some point. Little Irish girl says, I'm 51 and I have the experience working with homeless addicted traffic. Was an addict for 30 years. Not much shocks me, but holy shite. Well, I'm glad I could bring this to you, y'all, because the people that haven't seen this, no, I don't feel bad for Cuomo. The people that haven't seen this, I just want you to see this and hear it from me so you don't think that it's some fake news. It's real. No, I don't feel bad. I just thought we would help him stream his channel. I stream News Nation quite a bit, but this is his own channel. I don't know much about Cuomo. I just like his style. He's finished and done. That's what he is. Are you talking about Diddy? Who we talking about now? Who we talking about? All right, let's go. I want you to see this man. Suge Knight put the fear in rappers in the 90s. All right. And now he's
Why should they believe you about what you think and feel about Sean Diddy Combs and any allegations against him, given your history of animosity with him?
Well, first of all, I'm not calling you or nobody else to get nobody to believe anything regarding him. Like I said, I always say, me personally, I don't jump up and down and cheer for no black man going to prison or any other man, any other human being going to prison.
All right, so that's what I want you to know about Suge Knight is he don't give a fuck. All right, Suge Knight, he is a straight up, he started out as a bodyguard / hitman, and he made his way up. He's part of Death Row Records. He's literally a gangster. He's a rapper. He's not a rapper. He hangs with the rappers, and he's a straight up gangster. So when Chris asked him the question about why should we believe you, he said, I ain't reaching out to you. You're reaching out to me. I don't give a shit if you believe me or don't. So I just want you to know where we're coming from here. Everyone has known all this for decades. Diddy's trash, but it's now coming out. It's now starting to leak out. And I think it's really important to take this information and make sure that you don't put your children in the harm's way of, I think let me get them on YouTube and be YouTube famous and get this person that's like, I'm going to be their manager and pull in a diddler on them. I really think we should take these kind of lessons and serve a purpose with them. Suge, a real OG, no pun intended. He is a real OG. What do you mean like a train? Used like a train. That means that running one after the other. That's what happened. Diddy would buy a girl, fly her over from New York, bend her over, and let one person after the other run a sexual train on somebody. That's what I mean by running a train. All right. So he still has the respect of all the industry. How could you not? If you don't respect him, he'll probably break your leg. So let's listen to this interview. I just wanted you to know who Suge Knight was.
Because people think prison is always the answer. I'm not saying a lot of people don't deserve to do their time and see what's going on. But at the same time, that's not no cheerful thing, because when you look at it, that man have kids.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever affects him definitely affects his kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's a lot of victims involved in it, and whatever affects them affects their kids. So it's not a good thing to be talking about any shit about the next person. But it's not a gray area with me. And at the same time, Puffy didn't react or get where he got or doing those things or those allegations by himself. He was taught from people before him, and he did it to the younger people after him. And we can talk all day and say what's true, what's not true. Only true part about it is videos, conversations, and people can see what they've done.
Mm-hmm.
But for it being happy and proud and say what do people think, that's irrelevant.
So Suge,
It's just like I heard earlier today when Ray J was talking to TMZ.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I got love for Harvey. But I see Charles always.
Oh, yeah. We just started this investigation. We're about to get into it after this one and talk about the victims for a good 35 minutes. And then we still got episode after episode after episode. You know that I'm here to talk about victims and to advocate for victims, Mai Tai. I don't come here because I'm clout chasing or oh my God, star chasers. I don't care about any of that. I just want to advocate. And sometimes I get myself in trouble with the way I advocate. Jamie, I'm doing great. With the Madeline Soto case, I kind of actually needed a break today because there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on that I can't even talk to you guys about. I'm just not allowed to. So what's up? Thank you. Let's listen. Let's keep going. We're going to talk about the victims next. We're kind of talking about them now, but we're also validating to you, and whoever's watching, what's going on.
Got some negative to say when it comes to West Coast people. And Charles tried to make a reference to say that, how do I feel when I'm in prison? Yeah, I'm in prison. I guarantee you I'm free more than Charles. If I feel like sleeping to 5 o'clock, or I want to sleep 12 hours a day, I can.
Sure.
But besides all that, the fact is, it's not no competition. You're going to talk loud or talk about. It's not something positive that can help anybody. I don't get on no platforms unless it be something positive. If it ain't positive.
I understand what you're saying. I want you to try to make some positive points here. I get what you're saying about TMZ, but that's not really my interest, as you might imagine. My interest is in what you can help people understand about these allegations that Diddy is facing and what you believe he's facing on the inside. Now, what's most interesting to me is that you seem to see Diddy as kind of an Epstein kind of figure, that Jeffrey Epstein, that a lot of people know what Diddy was about, and they were about the same thing, and that's why they're quiet. That's why J-Lo and Ben Affleck got divorced, because of videos that he has of her that now they know about. Where is this coming from with you? What do you believe about the people around Diddy and what everybody knows?
Well,
Yes.
first of all, you got to start with at the top. You're starting with the top. Clyde Davis, Russell Simmons, Andre Arell,
Davis.
Jimmy Iovine. Even if you take Jimmy Iovine, he had an allegation from him, same thing.
There it is.
He went away.
All right, there it is. You guys want to find the boss and chase the money and see where this started? You're going to see it right here. This is where it started. Hello, Paul. Good to see you. New York baby boomer. When I heard that victims reported were as young as 9 years old, I about flew out off the handle that's why I said I need to bring this press conference to the crime crew. I got to. Like, I was already starting to cover this case, but now I'm just really like, I'm really mad and upset about this. And it hits close to home because my wife, when my daughter was younger, my daughter's so stinking cute, but my wife doesn't really understand how the industry works. She just says, oh, they're cute. Look at those people like Bieber. She had no idea. Bieber goes on to YouTube and becomes YouTube famous. She thought it was because of how good he is. It's partially, or she sees that cute baby that somebody takes on and says, oh, I'm going to be your manager and give you millions. She said, oh, you should put our daughter into social media. She's so cute. She'll make a ton of money. And I said, hell no, I'm not doing that. I'd rather get out there and work 10 hours a day than to so-called pimp my kid out. But my wife just didn't know. And there's many people that don't know. So that's why I'm here. I don't want that to happen to anybody else that can avoid it. Now, here you go. There's the boss.
You take Jimmy Iovine. They told me at Universal and Interscope, they said, you know what? We can't deal with artists that gets in trouble. And your artist gets in trouble, they talk crazy. Let's think about what they see. Now, I was told that I can't do business there because of that. Now, Doug Morris gave Puffy a deal for millions of dollars. It flopped. So when you look at all these things and everybody want to say Puffy, 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 don't get me wrong. Yeah, Puffy stepped in this shit, and even if he wiped the shit off his shoe, it still stinks. But he's not the only one. They got all the tapes.
Now, when you talk about the tapes,
but this has been going on for a long time.
Hold on, Suge. Help us understand, because a lot of this stuff is a little inside baseball for people, right? Because they don't live the life, they don't know the world, they don't know the players.
Telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
That's just a recording from the prison. That's just saying that they record it, which obviously they do. Suge, help people understand. What tapes are you talking about? Who has them? And what kinds of things do you think they show?
Well, number one, luckily, I wasn't their first choice, their second choice. I want no choice to be at those freaky parties. But
and if you guys haven't heard of a lot of these people, you should go back and do your homework, because he's telling it as it is. He's talking about the people from the 90s. That was great to see that Biggie, the Biggie picture, his album with freaking none other than the Diddler. And what's up, Melly? Puff Dirty. If you guys haven't watched Melly's channel, I believe it's that girl Melly, or that one girl Melly. Melly, can you drop your? I can't remember it. I know it's Melly, but if you want to drop your channel in there, go ahead and drop it in chat. I've been watching some bullying stuff on her channel. She's got some pretty good content. I'm not gonna say it's great content, but I haven't had a lot of time to watch it. But I do like your style, Melly, and I love true crime. So you've been bringing some good content. That one girl, Melly. I type in Melly and it just comes up, so I always forget. Thank you. Thanks for doing that. And yeah, she's got some pretty good content right now that I like. I don't know if you guys will, but it's legit. It's what happened. So yeah, go check that out. Suge Knight's commissary for this call. I don't know if they're paying him, Kawasaki. Suge Knight has a lot of money. Just saying. I don't think he needs commissary. And I'm not jocking Suge Knight or anything, but I just know about him since the 90s.
You know what they show? They used to have a thing in the industry, right? And the sad thing about it, I don't like mentioning Usher. I don't like mentioning Justin Bieber. I don't like mentioning all these people that everybody know what time it is. So at the same time, they used to have a joke. They never played this joke with me. And
exactly,
they used to walk in the Interscope office. They'll go back there and they'll be like, hey, we passed the test. I said, we haven't did the test. One dude said, well, don't say that in front of Mr. Knight, because he's going to take it offensive and hurt somebody. I said, well, whatever it is, I probably will take it offensive when somebody will get their ass whooped. You know, that was me in those days.
Oh, yeah.
They used to have these guys, they used to call it the boiled egg test. They could take a boiled egg, a raw boiled egg, and have those guys put their pants down and bend over and they stick it up their ass. The eggs break. They say they're not ready yet. They ain't put enough work in.
All right. Now, I know you've heard that, but now hearing it from Suge Knight is crazy. They would take a boiled egg and put it in their ass, and if it broke, they weren't ready yet. They were grooming these people for ANAL. Thank you, Melly, for gifting the one Guilty of Crime membership. Shirley Horton, thank you so much. And I want to say this is a chug or choo choo, but it's not that kind of train, y'all. It's not that kind of train that we're talking about. That's not a good train. I still can't get past the egg too. And I got to tell you, my son, I never let him go stay the night anywhere when he was a kid. He'd say, Mom, I'm a boy. And I said, they like boys, honey. They like boys. So I never let him stay the night anywhere. And people would have to come over here. So we were the cool parents. We let them do their thing and not get in trouble. Nothing happened to anyone, but it happens to boys too.
This is Hollywood. So everybody want to go act like they don't know what's going on.
Hold on a second.
But
Suge.
you just look. All you got to do is
I have never heard of anything
Yes.
like that. So if I haven't heard about it, just assume a lot of people haven't heard that before. But you think it's on video?
Let's stop for a second.
Go ahead, Suge.
Yeah, listen, and also, have you ever been to any puffy parties?
No.
You sure they had a long time to think about it. But if you haven't been in those butt naked parties, even some of the preachers been in those parties, and they wasn't on their knees praying for God. See, they was praying for somebody to have come real quick or something. But I wasn't there, but there's proof of it. But at the same time, everybody want to look around and act like something going on that wasn't right. It's the facts of life in the industry, not for the people who don't get in. So everybody, you got to look at it like this. You see a beautiful woman or you see a handsome man, and it was like that all their life. From elementary school to junior high school to high school, if they forced to go to college, right? They always knew they had something special about themselves.
And if you see this, if you see her, you see, is this Paris Hilton? No, this is Richie, right? This is, I always confuse them. Is this Paris? She looks different. Anyway, I'm pretty sure it's Paris, but you've been researching for decades. It's a battle, fighting for victims. How about the victims are our children? How about you just think of them as individual? Don't think of the battle as being, I'm trying to fight for all those children or all those people at his party. Yeah, that's Paris. I'm sorry. She looks different. Paris. That's Paris. Yeah, Paris. I'm not surprised by that. She probably had some relations with them too. But let's fight for the victims that are right here in our house or right next door or your grandchildren. How about that? Think of it that way. I need 1,000 bottles of baby oil to pass the egg test. I would never pass the egg test. Anal retentive. All right.
If you take some of the Hollywood executives or some artists, they might have been the ugly duckling for a long time before they had the teeth fix and lips fix and nose fix, all the work done. Underneath, they still the young people with no confidence because they've been that way all their fucking life. So all of a sudden, if you look at Puffy old pictures, don't look nothing like his new pictures. You know, shit, they didn't do everything.
But sure, just because he has plastic surgery, all I'm saying is, I'm not saying that you're wrong about rich people doing stuff to their face or whatever it is, but that's different than the allegations that are coming down on him.
I'm talking about richer people. I'm talking about the difference. I'm talking about, okay, look at it like this. I look at real plain and simple. Ain't no.
And before he breaks it down plain and simple, Bianca Hip needs Neds. Suge Knight's with the T because he's an OG. He's a real true person of the street. He started out as a gangster. Gangsters and gangbangers do not get down with that kind of thing. They do not get down with graping little boys. They do not get down with graping anybody. They're not. They might be bad and run drugs and do this other stuff, but they have this code. And the code is not what Diddy's doing. So, yeah, he's in prison right now, and he's sitting there preaching up and spilling the tea, but there are some morals behind it. Pray every day. Thank you so much for the $5 super sticker. All right. Yeah, Sugar's in prison right now.
Ain't no whistleblower. Facts is there. But right now, I don't care if it's T.I., I don't care if it's Rick Ross, I don't care if it's James, I don't care if it's Snoop, I don't care if it's Game, I don't care if it's Dre. Nobody's stepping up on the fact that you know what's going on.
Nobody's defending him.
You had guys at Interscope
You're right.
Okay.
Nobody is defending him, but that's why I was interested in hearing your perspective.
Hey, I like to say this too, real quick. You got a woman that works for you is really incredible. You don't find too many people.
I thought you were about to implicate her in the investigation. I'm just glad you're not implicating Dusty in the investigation, Suge, because I can't take that.
She's not in the investigation.
All right,
but what I want to do for her is, I want to. And look, I got to do this for her, but I want to turn her on to this clothing line called Girls Mondays to Sunday. Girl Monday to Sunday, and I'm definitely gonna look out for it because I buy a lot of shit for a lot of people from that place. But look, what I was basically trying to say is this: I respect your show and respect what you're doing, but
All right, and he's about to say something that it's funny. It's funny. He's he's a trip, but he's an OG. He's calmed down. He's in prison. He ran somebody over with a car and took their life. So there's so many things Suge Knight could be in prison for. You will hear stories about Suge Knight and the things that he did to people because they didn't pay him, they disrespected him, whatever it was that he wanted them to do. He did it with violence. All right. And yeah, J-Lo, I don't know about that, but I will say she is not my kind of woman if she was involved in any of this. I don't know yet. Yeah, Suge Knight takes no shit, but he's real. He's real. I mean, you know, he's sorry. All right, let's listen to this, what he says. He says he respects him, but
most important thing is there's got to be a solution, because this has been going on in the industry for a whole bunch of years, for decades. And at the same time, you know, nobody wants this to be true, and it shouldn't have to be true. But if we don't fix it and do something about it, history will constantly
repeat itself. Now, Suge, you said something early on that I want to get clarification for the audience, Suge. You said early on, you can't just look at Diddy in isolation. You said this was done to him. He learned from others, and it was done to him, and then he did to others. To me, that sounds like what I hear when people are talking about abusive situations, you know, hurt people, that someone was sexually abused, they wind up being a perpetrator. Is that what you're suggesting about Sean Combs, that he was sexually abused and he now sexually abuses?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. I think he repeat what was done to him. And like I said, if you look at Russell Simmons, you know the truth. Andre Rail, you know the truth. Clyde Davis, you know the truth. Jimmy Iovine, you know the truth. So there's not certain things that all of a sudden you got this. The industry is a quick business. It's been like that for a long time. And the casting couch is real, but it's for women and men. But far from all that, I think the most important thing is I feel like they should let Puffy tell his truth. I'm quite sure he's going to expose a lot of people. I'm sure.
Look at that. Isn't that Fat Joe there? Is that Fat Joe? No, that I think I gotta refresh on these guys and all the pictures since I haven't watched this all the way through. Yes, Suge Knight hung Vanilla Ice over a balcony rail by his ankles. That's how big he is. And Vanilla Ice, yeah, it's Fat Joe. Vanilla Ice told the story about it. So yeah, I do want you to know that he just anybody that crossed him, that's it. And so I believe him when he's talking about this. And I don't think Puffy's ever going to tell his truth.
Sure, he's going to move forward with it. But I don't think it should be a situation like the Epstein thing where they found him hanging from the ceiling and dead for the truth come out.
Do you believe
I think the truth need to be.
Do you believe that Diddy is in danger in prison? And do you have advice for him based on what you just said?
Well, the first advice I have, I don't ever want to say he's in danger, and neither should he say that. Because once he gets to the point where they feel he's going to be suicidal to himself, harmful to himself, once they put him on suicide watch, you have a right to nothing. No socks, no drawers, no T-shirt, no blanket, no sheets. You asshole naked in a cell as a crazy man. So he definitely don't want to do that. And the other advice I would tell him, you know, maybe he should get on the Jewish diet. Because the kosher meals is way better than the food somebody else is making for you. At least they're going to come hot. They're going to come sealed, and you got to be the one to open them. That's very important.
What about people trying to hurt him?
Go to jail. I mean, one of the things is this. I don't care who you are. Prison and jail is a negative environment. If somebody can do something to them and get a name for themselves, they're going to actually do it. Or they can do whatever they feel they got to do to prove themselves. But we also got to learn. We got to learn from our mistakes. Everything don't have to be a mistake. You got to better yourself. But we all know what we sign up for in life. So if I sign up to be a football player, I knew I'm going to get hit and I'm going to hurt some motherfuckers too. If I signed up to be in the music business and the entertainment business, if you fight for right and being a black man, there's certain things you got to look at for the challenges. If they can't take the money from you, they take you from the money by putting you in prison. That's a fact. In Puffy's situation, he should go and get his time out the way. Not no life sentence. If he can get a lesser time, he should jump on it because he had a great run. I'm in prison right now. I had a great run. So I don't go mad. I don't wake up mad. I've been locked up for 10 years and I ain't had a bad day yet.
You know why he hasn't had a bad day? Because in prison, when you have that thing called money and status, he's got it pretty easy. I'm sure he's got commissary, phones, people doing stuff for him. Besides money, he's definitely got clout, and he's a scary guy. Now, fit over 50. I like Vanilla Ice. I just watched an interview with Vanilla Ice the other day, and I'm glad he got kicked out of that scene because you know what he's been doing? He's been flipping houses since he was Vanilla Ice. He was 16 when he recorded that Ice Ice Baby song, and then he found real estate. He got that show, that house flipping show. All of those houses are his. He's a multi-millionaire, and he's been a really good a good role model, I would say. He didn't do anything wrong that I know of. So to me, if my child was to end up writing a hit song and being a real estate guy, then kudos to them. Kudos. All right. And Melissa, good to see you. Hopefully you get gifted a membership. Thank you, Jojo, for the 5 memberships. You saw that too? Yeah, he's doing amazing. He's not in prison. He's not in these allegations. That's what you should do. Go write a song, get a one-hit wonder, get out of Hollywood, and go flip houses. All right.
And it's a lot of things we can do to help each other, and it's never too late for help. God bless us to have a voice. Let's use our voice.
Yep.
I had told Puffy a while back. I told TD Jakes a while back. Shit, come on, collect calls. We can politic. Because one thing for certain, one thing for sure, he's just not going to walk away with one scratch on it.
Do you think that Diddy?
He can do so.
Do you think Diddy knows enough that it's a very delicate balance that maybe investigators will want to know these other names and greatly reduce his exposure to criminality to time versus what people would do to keep him quiet?
Right. That's what I think.
Number one, I've been knowing him a long time, and we was friends. We're not enemies, but we were friends. He's not a dummy, so he's smart enough to work his magic. On top of that, this man right here, he's been involved with the FBI and most of his career. It's not like he don't have no moves. So I don't think nobody should just count him out. I don't think he gonna lay down and just crawl in the corner and die. He probably going through a lot of shit right now because he probably going through a lot of withdrawals for the drugs. But the industry got him on drugs. And see, they do these things to take control. They're not doing, there's nothing wrong with being gay. If you choose to be gay, that's your preference. But they doing this to people for control. It's a power situation.
Suge.
And they've been having the power of the, yes.
I appreciate your perspective on this.
Absolutely we do, Suge. I do. You know, I just know a lot about Suge and a lot about the history of Suge and the gangster rappers, studio gangster rappers, the ones that aren't. All right, now you all, I really want to do this. I was putting it off because I was like, do they really want to watch this press conference? But you know what? I really do want to watch this press conference with you. whether you saw it or whether you haven't, I really want you to see what's coming from Fox 26 Houston. I want you to see that, the real people behind this that are doing this. It's not just, what did, who said that? Was it one of you guys said they're all the same? I said Fat Joe, and you said they're all the same. But if you know the history of this, they're not all the same. And everyone has a story. And I know what you mean by they're all the same. They're a bunch of rappers that did this or that. But there really is a story to this that can help to change the next generation of things that come at us, people that put their children in this industry, people that turn a blind eye. Most of the FBI informants don't end up so well. Yeah, and that's why I'm pretty sure he's not going to tell his story, because he will definitely get killed if he tells his story. La Maravilla. Let's watch this together. Thank you guys for being here. It's cuffing season. I do agree with Cat Williams. I watched that, and I watched it intently when Cat Williams did that interview and said 2024 is the year of reckoning, y'all. It's the year of reckoning. Yeah, artists. They're not all the same. They all have a story. I do feel bad for Justin Bieber, but I also felt bad for Usher too. But what I don't like is that people are making it into a gay thing, and it's an abuse thing. I don't care if Diddy is kissing 3 other men or somebody kissed Bieber out in public. I don't care about that. That the gay thing is not what it's about. It's about abuse. All right, what about JB's mom, Justin Bieber's mom? I don't know. I think she made money off of him and maybe didn't realize that what was going on. I don't know. All right, let's listen to this. I want you guys to see that this is real. C. Vincent, yes, all the same as far as girls from the club. Yes, I agree. I agree with that. That's why I was trying to bring up your comment or figure out who it was. They are in that sense. They're the same when it comes to that, but each one has a different individual story. And they know what's going on. Abuse is abuse. It's a power thing. Yeah, it's not a gay thing. It's an abuse thing. It's a power thing. Unbelievable. Cat Williams said it was coming out in 2024. Maybe I can play that interview with you guys sometime, because boy, did he nail it. It's not even about SEX. It's about power. Yeah, I get that. All right, let's listen to this together. Otherwise I'll just keep talking, because I have so much to say about this case. All right, here we go. Here, the legend, the ones that just came out, I think on Monday or Sunday.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tony Buzbee. I'm a lawyer here in Houston.
So it's a lawyer in Houston. Now, I want you to know that it's only in my left ear. And so the conference is kind of like that. So if you only have one ear in and you can't hear it, then switch to the other ear or put both on, okay? All right. And I love Cat Williams too.
I'm licensed in Texas and in New York.
One ear.
And I'll introduce other members of our team as they speak.
Exactly.
As many of you know, our law firm has been at the forefront of some of the most important litigation in the United States. We like the tough cases. We thrive in the complicated cases. We've handled over the last 25 years some very big and very important cases. I believe that this one may surpass them all. There are many facets to this. The conduct we will describe today occurred over more than 20 years. There are many people and many entities involved.
Yep.
And we're going to follow this evidence wherever it takes us. We will find the silent accomplices.
Do me a favor too. Hit that like button. I had 300 and almost 40 people in chat, and some of y'all left. You probably already seen this. Do me a favor, hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. I see some new lovely people here today, and I appreciate that. Ashley, I knew you only had one earbud on. That's why I told you. I was talking specifically to you. Subscribe, share the content if you will, and gift memberships, whatever you can do it. If you can't, then don't.
We will expose the enablers who enabled this conduct behind closed doors.
Yeah, he was
there.
there.
Pursue this matter, no matter who the evidence implicates. These brave victims who have stepped forward deserve nothing less. The biggest secret in the entertainment industry that really wasn't a secret at all has finally been revealed to the world.
Some of it.
The wall of silence has now been broken, and victims are coming forward. Our team has had at this point more than 3,285 individuals contact us with people claiming to have been victimized by Sean Combs. After vetting, we now represent 120 individuals who intend to bring civil claims in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs, as well as claims against many other individuals and entities that we will name as defendants as we file these individual cases. And you should know, to the extent the clients feel comfortable, we also intend to make these individuals available to the authorities, specifically to the FBI. And you should also know a few of them have already been spoken to by the FBI. Now, before we discuss the nature of the claims and claimants themselves, let me comment on the large volume of calls we have received since our first announcement. Even before the indictment of Sean Combs, we had received a small volume of calls and it screened a handful of cases. After the indictment of Sean Combs and the announcement that we were pursuing these claims, the floodgates opened. People who wouldn't otherwise, for a variety of reasons, are now stepping forward to make their voices heard and to pursue justice. But no, most of these people are scared. They fear backlash in their communities. They fear backlash in their own families. They are afraid of retaliation from the perpetrators and their associates. They are rightly afraid for their own personal safety. I expect that through this process, many powerful people will be exposed. Many dirty secrets will be revealed. We know what we are potentially up against. And as is always the case in situations like this, when a celebrity is involved, people can be downright mean and nasty. You would be shocked at the length fans will go, no matter the evidence to the contrary, to defend celebrities they love. I mean, there's a reason for this word fans. They're fanatics. I've personally already been threatened multiple times on social media. And when I agreed to pursue this, I expected as much. This isn't my first rodeo. But victims who step forward to have their voices heard should not be subjected to that kind of conduct. They should not be targeted. I want to say this, and I want to be clear about it. Although we are vetting each call as stringently as we can, I always start with the mindset that I believe victims. I believe victims because I understand the tremendous courage it takes to step forward. So if you're watching this, please hear me. If you're out there and you have been victimized, you are not alone. There is a great strength in numbers. You can seek redress. You can obtain justice. We can help you, and we will help you. That being said, as stated, we are vetting every call that we receive. We have had to turn away some. For each, we ask for corroboration. For each, we ask for the identity of witnesses. We also have collected pictures, videos, texts. We check venues, we check dates. We want to corroborate that the claims being made have legitimacy and merit. We have on staff now a former detective from the Major Offenders Unit of Houston Police Department who is.
So apparently this is not a class action suit. Individual people are reaching out to this guy, and I think he wants more people to come. It's going to make the case stronger. So thank you guys for being here. I saw someone in chat a bit ago say, tell the hostess to be quiet and let us listen to this. Well, unfortunately, it's my channel. So thank you guys for being here and staying with me to listen to this together.
Was helping us vet each claim. We're using our common sense. We're being stringent because, as I said, these are not easy cases. They're very tough. The process is hard, and in some cases, the process is very lengthy. These cases are hard to prove. Many times, it's the victim's word against the alleged perpetrator. Each of these victims will no doubt be publicly attacked by the alleged perpetrators, and in some cases, the general public. The feckless and cowardly keyboard warriors love to attack. We know what we're up against. We did not enter this fray blindly. I wish it was my last such fray. I wish this type of behavior wasn't so pervasive, but it is what it is, so we will press on. As I said, our law firms have been retained by 120 individuals at this point to pursue cases in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs. You should know, in this group, it is evenly divided between males and females. There are 60 males and 60 females who have joined us to pursue these claims as plaintiffs. In this group, 62% identify as African American, 30% are white, and the remainder are Hispanic or Asian. The victims are from more than 25 states. The majority are from California, New York, Georgia, and Florida. I want to focus on the ages of these victims. When we talk about the ages of the victims when the conduct occurred, it's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15.
14.
25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of. The time frame of the acts complained of is very wide. The conduct at issue spans from the years 1991 all the way till this year, 2024. If you wonder why there are so many alleged victims, that's your answer. We're talking about more than 25 years of this type of conduct. Now, although most of the victims who have stepped forward were victimized after 2015, this has been going on for a very long time. Now, when you think about the fact that some of this conduct occurred 25 years ago, and you wonder why would it take somebody so long to step forward, I want to remind you that, that many states in the United States have recognized that it's very difficult for a victim to step forward and to make these types of allegations when something very terrible has happened to them. I'll use New York, the state of New York, as an example. The state of New York has specific statutes in place that revive claims that are even claims that would typically be not able to be brought, that it revives such claims and they can be brought even 25 to 30 years later. Because there's a recognition there in New York and California and other states that it's very difficult for a victim to come forward. And I would respectfully suggest the only reason many of these people are coming forward because they see other victims coming forward. And it gives them some comfort that, hey, I won't be the only one. And I expect more victims will come forward. You know, there's an old saying that says, a lie has great speed, but truth has endurance. The acts complained of in these cases that we're going to file occurred primarily in New York, either Manhattan or the Hamptons, or occurred in California, primarily in Los Angeles, or in Florida, primarily in Miami.
And when they said this about California and Florida, I definitely wasn't surprised. Kylie, Cosmos, I saw you on Grizzly True Crime today. Good girl. Grizzly, you're a Grizzly. You're part of the crime crew. You're amazing. We see you a lot. Thank you so much for your $1.99 super sticker. Yeah, Kylie is awesome. All right, this is great information though, and I cannot wait until some kind of trial happens, but so far there has been nobody in the courtroom allowed, so we're just seeing drawings.
Most of these events and incidents occurred at parties, typically after parties, or album release parties, New Year's Eve parties, 4th of July parties, something they call the puppy party, the all-white party, although several of these events occurred at auditions. Many times, especially young people wanting to break into the industry were coerced into this type of conduct. In the promise of being made a star, or in the promise of having Sean Combs listen to their tape, or even let them read for Sean Combs. You should know that some of this behavior occurred at well-known venues in New York City. Some of this behavior occurred at private residences of people that we all know. Some of this behavior occurred at hotels that we're all familiar with. You should know that more than 55% of the victims reported this conduct to either the authorities, that is the police, or to hospitals. We're in the process of collecting with our team assistants, medical records, reports that were made to the authorities. And I've already said that some of the individuals in this group did in fact talk to the FBI. You should know that several of the individuals, and when I say several, I mean many, who did in fact seek medical treatment were drug tested, and drugs were found in their system, weird drugs that you probably never heard of. One in particular that continues to pop up is a drug called xylazine, or trank, which based on our research is known as a horse tranquilizer. Now, there's been a lot of reports that we're filing a class action. This is not a class action. Class action is when one or two people file a case on behalf of a group of people. That's not this. These cases will be individual cases. Each case will live and die on its own merit. These cases will be filed individually, one plaintiff against whoever the defendants were involved in the case. Each case may be filed in one venue like California, another case may be filed in New York. One case may sue just Sean Combs, but multiple.
That's actually not true, Lori. Crime Crew, do me a favor and hit the one. Now, you did get your comment on because you said that, and I'm glad you love the channel, but Crime Crew, hit a 1 in chat. No matter if you give me a super chat or not, I post your messages on the screen and I interact with you. Come on now. Very not true, y'all. All of you guys get attention, so that's a funny comment. Yeah, thank you, Mai Tai. We are talking about the victims here, but my channel is like, I interact with you guys to the fullest. I answer your text messages, your Instagram messages, Facebook. I totally interact with you guys, whether you give me anything. That's hella funny. You guys too much. Thank you. I am too bear. I appreciate that. All right, let's keep going with this. You guys are too much today.
Multiple other people. One case may sue a range of people. I would expect most, though, to be filed, as I said, in New York and Los Angeles. Now, I know this. Many of you came here thinking or hoping, or perhaps believing that I may start naming names. Well, that day will come, but it won't be today. The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that.
We want to know
the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. These are individual cases. There are indeed other perpetrators involved. They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing.
Yes.
I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it, egged it on. They know who they are. I call them the facilitators of foul play, willing participants in vile conduct.
All right, so guilty by association. I do have a huge feeling that people that are guilty by association in this crime are going to be pointed out. So I hope that if they're pointed out, they have something to talk about and really defend themselves. Because if you've been going for years to these parties and you saw things happen to 9-year-olds, 12-year-olds, even 17-year-olds, you are going to probably be targeted. All right. Yeah, I think Jay-Z did leave the country, and I cannot wait to get a hold of this list. I'll be out there as soon as it comes out. All right, Savage, your name's in green. Allie's name's not in green. I always tell you, get your green, y'all. All right. We got to check into Madeline McCann, though. We really do. That's one case that's baffled me.
As we identify them, each will be part of this case as defendants. These defendants will not only include individuals, but would also include corporate entities who ultimately profited off of this culture and behavior. I'm looking at banks, pharmaceutical companies, hotels. We know that many of these individuals were paid cash. We know that many of these individuals involved, whether they were the ones being assaulted and abused, or they're witnessing other people being assaulted and abused and then paid and threatened and told to leave. Typically paid 10 grand in cash and told to leave.
Wow.
Threatened as they were leaving. So in addition to Sean Combs, you should know the defendants in these cases we're going to file will include anyone, of course, who engaged in the assault or exploitation.
Steve Harvey left the country and his wife filed for divorce. So a lot of people are not having to say anything, but they're saying something, if you all know. Yeah, holy moly. I wish we had the list right now.
Anyone who participated in such in any way, anyone who encouraged or facilitated this conduct should just come forward now. I would imagine, as we speak here, there are a myriad of people who are very nervous. You can't hide skeletons in the closet forever. I would expect there are many people out there right now who are desperately searching their memories as they delete their texts and data.
Right.
Now, although these are, in fact, individual cases, there is a common theme, an MO, if you will. Typically, the victim is lured into a situation where he or she is given a drink. Typically, that drink, reported by these victims, is apparently laced with something. Once that drink takes effect, the perpetrators perform all kinds of sexual acts on the victims, many times passing him or her around as other people watch and enjoy the show, and then leave the victim ashamed, confused, injured, and wondering what happened. When the victim reaches out, he or she is told not to say anything. Sometimes there are threats of all physical violence or financial repercussions or bodily harm. The claims we intend to bring will include the following: violent sexual assault or rape, sexual abuse, facilitated sex with a controlled substance, false imprisonment, compelling prostitution, sexual misconduct, dissemination of video recordings, false imprisonment, sexual abuse of minors. Given the large volume of cases, and given our other docket obligations, and given the fact that we want to be sure when we file these cases that they are fully vetted, I expect we'll start filing these cases against Sean Combs and other perpetrators within the next 30 days. Now, it's rare, sexual abuse, sexual exploitation, this type of activity is pervasive in our society, and it's rare we get a chance where we can really focus on this as a country and really focus on this about how pervasive this is and what we as collectively can do about it. So I thought I'd take this opportunity before I go into some of the individual cases and talk about some of the individual claims being made and some of the.
And trigger warning to y'all, because this is, if something's happened to you, you've been abused in the past by anybody for any reason, they're going to start getting into this. It's graphic. The language is graphic. One juror matters says Julia is not Madeline McCann. So we're going to have to look into this. Can people be extradited from Dubai? I don't think so. I think that Dubai is one of the non-extradition countries, but you guys can tell me in chat. All right, let's keep going, because trigger warning. I pray this will change the music industry. Not just the music industry, but yes, Celia, I pray that it changes industries that have a ton of money. I'm not sure how that's going to go. I don't know if they're going to go even deeper and do it and not do it as flashy as Diddy did, but let's change it for as much as whatever it's worth. Under no circumstances read this out loud. Sorry. See, I don't even look. I just post them up and put you guys. Thank you for the $2 super chat. I appreciate you guys. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to at all. Yeah, trigger warning, sensitive subjects.
So you'll get a sense of what this 120 people group looks like individually. I want to bring forward Carrie
Thank
Paul.
you, Nina.
She's a national victim advocate who helps victims who have been victimized by this type of conduct. And she has some important words, and I hope you'll pay close attention. I think it's important that you hear from her.
Let's hear it,
Hello,
y'all.
I'm Carrie Paul with the National Victim Advocate. It's not easy for any survivor to come forward. Our culture doesn't believe survivors.
Okay.
It blames and questions them. Instead of showing support, many choose to enable abusers. The media runs stories asking why it took so long for survivors to come forward instead of asking what barriers exist. We also don't equip law enforcement with the ability to handle sexual assault crimes. Lack of funding translates to lack of training. We have officers in the field that don't know what to say to a rape victim, and also an alarming amount of backlogged, untested rape kits. Prosecutors are focused on what they can prove in a case, and if so, how to do that at time of trial. Advocates and staff are stretched thin with growing caseloads in the criminal justice system. Most people don't know how the criminal justice works in general. There isn't enough staff or resources to adequately explain the entire process to every victim and survivor. Our culture works against victims and survivors every day, and abusers know this. Abusers work themselves into positions of power, building a public image that is trusted and financially large enough to make people look away. Abusers are unfortunately very skilled at power and control, the foundation of abuse. They seek victims who are vulnerable, such as children, their employees, and their intimate partners, all who see a different version than the public does, all who rely on the abuser in some way. And for those that
Now, the list hasn't come out yet, but I know what you're talking about. You're talking about people in general throwing accusations around. We will figure that out as we go. So hopefully we'll get something soon so there's not speculation and people being added to it. Oh, Kim made the Daily famous. Yeah, we're going to see. We're going to see, and we're going to wait until the real information comes out. Politicians as well. There was a show party, and then after the freak party. Yeah, we're going to get information out there, y'all. And they said possibly Ellen. She's had Diddy on her show. How many times did they say? 17 times? Doesn't mean anything, but there are accusations. Also accusations with her DJ, the man that took his own life, right? We forgot about him. You remember her DJ that took his own life a few years back? I can't remember his name right now. I'll have to look it up.
do come forward and aren't believed face questions like, are you sure it happened that way? Were you drinking? What were you wearing? All
Twitch.
of this
Yes.
creates an environment that enables
Twitch.
abusers to continue abusing them
Thank you.
and future victims. To the survivors that have come forward despite not being believed at some point in time, your courage is like nothing we have seen before. We thank you for coming forward for yourself and all survivors. And lastly, I want all survivors that are watching this to know we believe you and we support you.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Exactly.
I want you now to hear from my co-counsel, Andrew Van Arsdale. We've created a sexual abuse hotline, and I want him to visit with us just a few moments about how that works and the kind of volume of calls we've received.
Thank you, Tony.
And I wonder how many of these people calling in maybe false accusations or just trying to get into the spotlight. So think about that. Savage Barbie says Jay-Z's mistress passing for being pregnant. Interesting. Yeah, rest in peace, Twitch. I do not think that Twitch took his own life. It makes zero sense, and it always has. But now that I'm starting to see this coming out and I'm hearing all this, now it makes more sense. But I do not think that he took his own life. And it's just too many weird circumstances around his life being taken.
Like Tony said, my name is Andrew Van Arsdale. I'm the managing partner of ABA Law Group. We have offices in California, Montana, and North Carolina. To build off of what you just
You want to
said,
call?
it's very hard to come forward. And given what we've experienced the past 10 days is really unprecedented in my career, at least. We represent thousands of survivors of abuse, and never, ever in a 10-day period have we seen over 3,000 people come forward, where we've confirmed and decided to investigate and represent 120 people, while we're continuing to work through another 100 plus cases to prove them up, to validate what had happened here, and to hold those that are responsible accountable. And so, like Tony said, we've set this up. 1-800-200-7474. I have a team of people standing by, literally. If you know that this happened to someone and you have information about it, please contact us. If this happened to you, come forward. There's attorney-client privilege here. What you tell us is in confidence. Yes, we'll have to go out and build your case, but we will protect you. And the other thing that I want to say is the pattern and practice of this, again, is unprecedented. Over 30 plus years of the same sort of events happening, people thrust into the circle reportedly, and horrible things.
And you got to remember, when we talk about horrible things happening to children, that could have happened to me and my friends. Now, Axl Rose and Guns N' Roses weren't into that I know of anything. But you remember I told you my story when I was in high school. My best friend's mom worked for Axl Rose. She still does. And I was invited to his Halloween party a couple of years in a row. I went to his Halloween party. I was 16 or 15, and we were just out there hanging out. We got to stay in his house. Slash was there, the band members, other celebrities. That could have happened. Let's say it would have been me invited to, my friends invited to one of Diddy's or party, or one of the associates of Diddy. So this could happen to anybody, folks. It could happen to anyone. It could happen to your children, your grandchildren. Just be aware of this, and let's not focus so much on celebrities and their status and, oh, you're a celebrity. Let's remember they're people too. Yeah, no ice party. He didn't have any ice, and he was going to cancel the whole party. So I didn't even think about that till now, that could have happened to my friends and myself. You just never know. It didn't.
To them as a result. And from talking to these people that have come forward these past 10 days, I can tell you unequivocally that because the federal government did what it needed to do and indicted this man, that they put him in jail, and a judge kept him in jail. They tell me directly, this validates my feelings. For so long, I thought it was my fault. What is it about me that put myself in that scenario? What was I wearing at the time? What did I do to be subjected to such horrific treatment at these people that I was trying to trust? Well, we know now it was not your fault. You were victimized by a group of powerful people that operated for 30 plus years.
No,
taking
the
advantage
victims
of the
probably
wealth
aren't.
and the power that they held within the music industry. So again, thank you to every single person that has come forward and contacted our office over the past 10 days. If you or someone you know suffered the same sort of treatment, please
Thank you.
contact us at the number behind me and we will help you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it speaks to how important this issue is in the United States and frankly, internationally, that we have reputable
decades.
people here that want to provide kind of information that I think victims need to hear, witnesses need to hear, the public needs to hear. Let me introduce to you now Olivia Rivers from the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault, and let her visit with you a few moments about these types of cases.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Q Olivia Rivers. I am just served my 6th year as the board chair for the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault. I'm also the CEO for the Bridge Over Troubled Waters, which is a local rape crisis center here in the Houston area. So thank you for being here as we address these heinous crimes. Sexual assault is not just a crime of violence against the body. It's an assault on the very essence of human dignity and safety. It shatters lives, it destroys confidence, and all too often, it leaves survivors feeling like they are voiceless, isolated, and vulnerable. The reality for many survivors is that coming forward to report their assault is one of the most difficult and daunting tasks that they will ever have to do. And for some, it may take days, months, or even years to speak up, if they ever do. The reasons for this have been mentioned, but include the fear of being disbelieved, being blamed or judged, and of course, retaliation. The trauma of the assault itself being compounded by the trauma of the criminal justice process, where survivors must relive their experience in order to seek justice. And these feelings and fears are further exacerbated when the allegations are against prominent figures in the entertainment industry or Hollywood. Cases involving powerful figures often attract significant media attention, which can deter victims from coming forward due to fear of public exposure or scrutiny. The intense focus on these high-profile cases can make survivors feel that their personal lives are being put under a microscope, causing further emotional distress. These allegations mentioned here today, as reported, reflect deeply troubling claims that deserve thorough investigation, and no individual, regardless of their stature, is above the law or public accountability. Sadly, the statistics paint a very disturbing picture. According to the National Sexual Violence Resource Center, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 6 men will experience some form of sexual violence in their lifetime. In the US alone, there are approximately 463,000 victims of rape or sexual assault every year, and these numbers barely scratch the surface, as sexual violence remains one of the most underreported crimes. But the numbers that follow tell an even more troubling story. Only about 23% of sexual assaults are reported to law enforcement. Of those, just 5% lead to an arrest, and even fewer, less than 1% of reported cases, ever result in a conviction, which is a devastating gap between the crime and the justice that survivors deserve. I want to briefly focus on our state here in Texas. According to the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault, 6.3 million Texans, men and women, will experience some form of violence. That's every 2 minutes someone is sexually assaulted, meaning during the course of this press conference, around 60 individuals will forever be changed by this violence. And those are just a few of the victims. Obviously, this is unacceptable. We cannot allow this cycle of silence and inaction to continue. We have to create an environment where survivors feel empowered to come forward, where they are met with empathy and respect and support, not skepticism and blame. We have to ensure that our legal system is equipped.
Now, I want to thank you guys for being here. We still have 251 people in chat. You guys are amazing. This is like a little family we have here at Guilty of Crime. So I do thank you. I thank the people that are in chat that don't talk, that are just listening. I even thank the ones that tell me to shut up and keep going. So thank you guys. It's good to see you, Adam. I know you've been working hard like us all. So thank you. Thank you for finishing this with me, and just raise awareness to whoever you're around about this. Let's not sit there and praise these people because they have money. Let's praise people because of their morals, because of their values, because of how they treat you as a person. Let's remember that this is the downfall of the people that have money and that we praise. Avis, thank you. And I love you too. It's almost a members only night. It's always a members only night. Yeah, it is like members only right now.
To handle these cases with the seriousness they deserve, and that survivors have access to the resources that they need beyond the legal courtroom. We have to address the root causes of this epidemic: prevention, awareness, and fostering environments where respect, consent, and safety are non-negotiable values. Additionally, support for survivors has to be holistic. They have to have access to counseling, medical services, legal advocacy, and of course, community support, regardless of whether they choose to report or not. To every survivor who has come forward, your bravery is an inspiration. To those who are still grappling with their decision, know that you are not alone and that your voice matters. Your story matters. We see you, We believe you, and we are committed to fighting for a future where sexual violence is no longer tolerated.
Finally.
Where justice is not the exception, but the standard.
I want to visit with you real quickly before we close here about some specific instances without disclosing the victim's name. You probably know that depending on the age of the victim, you can file these cases, these individual cases under Jane Doe or John Doe. Each state is different in that respect. Typically, there is a balancing test, like the public's right to know the name of the victim and plaintiff versus the confidentiality and the safety of the plaintiff. So we'll have to struggle with that with each one of these cases. Our intention, of course, is to, like we always do, file these cases under a pseudonym until the court tells us otherwise. But let me share with you a few, just kind of give you a sense of the kind of cases and the kind of instances that people are calling and reporting that we are trying to corroborate, vet, and these are the ones that we've already corroborated, vetted, and collected evidence on. One individual who was 22 years at the time she was assaulted said that the typical MO at one of these parties that have been widely discussed in the press was that when you were handed a drink, and now we know that the drink is laced with something, if you refused to drink it, you were kicked out of the party. Now, let that sink in for a minute.
And I'm sure the people that got kicked out are better off for it. Now, Sharon, I have it jacked up as high as I can. I'm sorry you can't hear it, but put your other headphone in. It's only playing in my left ear and not my right ear. It's the way that they film this. Now, yeah, if Loco Jazz Hands, I've always said I'd love to be rich, so I don't have any worries about money, but I never want to be famous. Unfortunately, YouTube is I'm trying to fight for justice here, but the more people that see you, the more people that know you. Pamela Borges, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I love the 90s. I'm 62 and still crank my rap while cruising. I'll go back to my maker listening to rap. Oh, you're awesome. I grew up on that too. So thank you. Thank you all for your chats and super stickers, and even just your comments is what keeps the channel going. So thank you. I wonder if there are men. Yes, there are. Kawasaki, the victim, they gave the list and they gave a percentage of male to female. It's pretty close. It's pretty dang close. And Teresa, I'm very thankful that all this is coming out and that you're on the channel with us as it comes out, and you can find your reputable source to come here to Guilty of Crime, and we'll tell you what's the real deal. And if we mess up, we'll make sure to correct ourselves. Thank you, Nina Drew, for the 99-cent super sticker. I'm going to say it's an avocado, and I cannot wait to eat dinner after this. Thanks, Jay. You're welcome, Sharon. And Teresa, Twitch, primarily men. No, it's not primarily men, but there's a huge percentage of men. Actually, primarily might be right. I think they said 55% Kawasaki. Yes, I'm talking to you, Angie. Thank you for the $2.99 super sticker. You guys are what make the channel. You will make the channel. Without you, I wouldn't have a channel. Local Jazz Hand said I had to stop listening to rap while driving. It made me rage. I started listening to classical and became a much nicer driver. How about you, Paul? What do you listen to when you're driving? An avocado blowing kisses. Mwah. Love you guys. All right, let's finish this up. Remember, if you're a victim and you're a victim of something like this, do reach out. If you're a victim that wants to talk and you want to talk to me, I'm always here. guiltyofcrime@gmail.com. I've had lots of people reaching out to me because of the Madeline Soto case that have been assaulted, and they just want somebody to talk to get it out, to support them. So guiltyofcrime@gmail.com. We're all here for you. Thank you again, Nina Drew, for the 99-cent super sticker. It's a dancing potato, right? You may have been there less than 9 months, but you're the real deal. Thank you, Sharon. I appreciate that. I love you. Fam, I'm not saying they're problematic. I'm saying I don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe in coincidences either, Paul. Lee Ann Hutton, what's up? Again, you guys make the channel. The classic one, Paul, Sharon, Nina, all of you guys. Avis, one of my faves. And I am Two Bear. I absolutely love you. I listen to audiobooks about the Tudors when I drive. I listen to true crime when I drive. All right, let's get back to the victims. Trigger warning: if you've ever been victimized for any reason, by any circumstances, just know that we're here and there are people to support you.
I mean, the admission to this party was that you had to drink the chosen drink that was handed to you. And now we know that in most cases, I would say 90% of the cases, these individuals were drugged with some sort of drug. That was kind of the MO. Another instance, this individual who was 9 years old at the time was taken to a audition in New York City with Bad Boy Records. Other boys were there to audition as well. All of them were trying to land a record deal. All of them were minors. This individual was sexually abused, allegedly by Sean Combs and several other people at the studio in the promise to both his parents and to him himself of getting a record deal. Another instance.
Wait, Stardust, please tell us what you're talking about. This is disgusting, and it's not gay, and it's not about sex. I don't think anybody said that. This is absolutely about power. All of this is about power. It's not about sex. It's not about your sexual preference whatsoever. It's not about making love or wanting to have threesomes or any of that. It really, truly is about power and control. So I'm not sure what happened. I think maybe you came in and heard something out of context, but yeah, that's what we've been talking about.
Another minor told allegedly by Sean Combs that he would make him a star,
Yes,
but needed to visit with him in private about it, away from his parents. Once they were in a private area, allegedly Mr. Combs made the victim perform oral sex upon him. Another incident, an individual 15 years old at the time, flown to New York City to attend a party, was drugged, and then taken into a private room, allegedly in the presence of Mr. Combs, where this female individual minor was raped, and then other individuals took turns raping her.
that's what I'm talking about.
26 at the time of the occurrence was picked up by, allegedly, by Mr. Combs and several other people in a black SUV from the airport, was given one drink in the SUV, and then literally woke up the next day not knowing what had happened, but with pain and damage to both her vagina and her anus, where she was then went to the hospital. She was missing her underwear and her shoes. Another instance, an individual, this time not a minor, was attended a group dinner, allegedly with Sean Combs in Miami. She wasn't drinking because she was pregnant, but whatever she drank at the table, apparently, at least according to her, was laced with something. She blacked out, and she woke up in the same bed, again, allegedly, with Mr. Combs in his mansion in Miami. Her vagina and her anus were torn and sore. And I could go on. I mean, literally, you're sensing a theme here. It's the same theme, and it all involves some sort of drug. One instance, an individual who was 20 years old at the time was asked to attend, just saw her on the street, asked to attend a party in a hotel. She was flattered, went to the party, was given one drink and doesn't remember anything else. Ultimately, was so messed up, went to the hospital where they found cocaine and this horse tranquilizer in her blood system. I want to give you a quote from a very young man.
Well, we all have our opinions, and Savage, I'm happening to be on your side with this, and it has nothing to do with sex or sexuality or any of that. 90% of all doctors that talk to abusers or offenders, they bring it down to, they narrow it down to it being power and control, and it has nothing to do with getting off or getting off on it or any of that sexually. So I'll agree to disagree. And Stardust, that's okay if you think it's about both. That's fine. But I think the majority of it's not about that. And that's okay. Yeah, I think it was K. I think part of it was. I wonder how many people died along the way, right? And we don't know anything about it. I hope they bring charges for Biggie, Tupac, and other people that their lives were taken. This is sicker than you imagine. You got to remember, it's kids too. It's 9-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 14-year-olds, 17-year-olds. And remember, when we're talking about these crimes, they're being graphic because they're telling us what happened. That's what happens when you get assaulted sexually. Those are the things that happen. Yeah, Stardust. All right, let's finish this up, guys. Remember, trigger warning. This is what this is part of what happens when you're sexually abused and assaulted.
Who told us over the phone about his experience and all the things that happened to him. He says allegedly at the hands of Sean Diddy Combs and his friends in the effort to try to sign a record deal. This was kind of what he was told he would have to do. His quote is, "Had he not been in power, I feel like I could have been something great. I quit the industry because of what Sean Combs did to me." And that's really what it comes down to. We are pursuing this, asking you to support this effort, to encourage witnesses and victims to come forward and bring your evidence so we can continue to break down this wall of silence and we can continue to have these stories heard.
Yep.
This is the beginning of what I hope to be a national dialogue. This type of sexual assault, sexual abuse,
Yes, he did.
sexual exploitation should never happen in the United States or anywhere else. This should have never been allowed to go on for so long. This conduct has created a mass of individuals who are injured, scared, and scarred. If you are one of those individuals, we ask you to reach out. If not to us, to someone you trust. If you are someone who witnessed any of these events, we ask you to reach out. Your name can remain confidential. With that, I'll take a few questions, not many, maybe two, but if you have a question, I'll be pleased to try to answer it. Perfect.
How many minors are making accusations in total? Are the feds aware of the allegations of minor
I don't know what the feds are aware of, okay, but I do know it's 25 out of this 120.
Tony,
I will say this to that point. We welcome the FBI or any authority who wants to come to us, and we're going to make that available to these victims because I think that's important. My suspicion is, based on talking with these folks, is that the FBI is just not aware of these people. The FBI has talked to some of these folks, and I'm going to try to encourage the victims to, in fact, talk to the FBI because I think they have some very important things to say.
Tony, were all of the children auditioning because they were musicians, or were any of them kids of employees or anything like that?
All seeking either TV or some sort of music career with promises of
That sucks,
we'll
man.
make you a star. Instead, basically did things to them such that they don't want to have anything to do with the entertainment industry ever again. All right, guys. Thank you very much for your attention. We're going to go now. Thank you.
All right. So that played in both ears towards the end, which is really interesting. The sound didn't play at all, and then all of a sudden it played. So I want to thank you guys for being here. We will get names, Stardust. I don't want to start putting names, like a whole list of names yet, because we just heard them say they're going to release the names soon, but they haven't. So I don't want to put that out there. No, I already got resent. Thank you for reminding me. One time I totally spaced out because I heard Tori here and she ended up getting her like 6 minutes late. But Reese is already home. Reese called me and said, once again, I don't feel good, Mom. Pick me up. And then when she got here, she was fine. So thank you for helping me keep track of when to pick up Reese. I really do appreciate that. He will face charges in Florida. This is an Interpol level. Once again, Diddy normalized this for his kids. Yes, I agree. I've seen his son many times throughout the raids and in different video. Diddy's son that looks just like him. And I'm pretty sure he was probably not only abused, but after he was abused, going along with it and abusing others. So I think Diddy just messed up a lot of people and a lot of people's lives. All right. So I feel sorry for his young daughters. Thank you. Correct me if I'm wrong. You believe this has to do? I don't. Emma Joy, you're wrong. I'm going to correct you that you're wrong. I don't think it's about sex at all. I think it's about power and control. So a lot of times when I'm talking and I'm reading your comments and I put them on the screen, I'm just reading someone else's comment and agreeing to disagree. I think 90% of this is about power and control. I listen to what doctors say, psychologists, psychiatrists, what have you, and it's mostly about power and control, not about sex at all. So I love you all, and I don't want my stuff to get taken out of context at all. So that's why I cleared up with you. I love you all. Let's stay tuned. Tomorrow we're going to have part 2 of the roommate Madeline Soto case, Jennifer Soto's roommate Angelica. I also posted a picture for you all so you can see who it is. That's the first time I've ever seen a picture of Jen Soto's roommate Angelica and been able to actually see her face. So I tried to show you all yesterday who she is, and she clearly put herself out there on social media. So I shared that so you can put the face to the interview, and I have sent again translating the audio. So thank you all. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here and following me on the Diddy case. Yeah, these people are bored. They have too much money. They want more power than they already have. It's just disgusting. All right, y'all. I love you. I will see you tomorrow. You guys have a good night, and I'm out of here.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty?